So, hey, man, I don't want to put you on the spot, and I don't want websites plucking your quotes necessarily, but I got to ask you about this whole Brock Lesnar situation and Jon Jones and USADA, the U.S. Anti-Doping Organization, and the uptick in positive tests and the big names getting nabbed here. I mean, it's sort of an ugly scene overall. I mean, how much are guys talking about this in the gym and Lesnar specifically?
Yeah, I mean, look, we could spend a lot of time on this for sure, but I tell you, first of all, I think there's two differences between Jones and Lesnar at this point. Jon Jones is totally a self-destructive human being at this point, and Brock Lesnar, I don't think is self-destructive. I mean, he comes from a entertainment, culture where, it was kind of acceptable, even though they probably would test him, but he was doing something, like aggressive behavior doesn't really impact, what he's doing because it's entertainment. Jon Jones, man, aggressive behavior, you could hurt somebody, you know what I mean? And, I think Brock kind of does what Brock is going to do, and I don't think you're going to see the same type of excuses from Brock. I think he, it's a totally different dynamic, you know what I mean? Like, Jones is just, how many opportunities have people given this guy to turn his life around, and, it's bad. Look who he hurt. He hurt the UFC 200. He hurt Daniel Cormier. He hurt Dana White, who's tried to help this guy numerous times. I mean, like, when do you stop? You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I feel like this guy can't get out of his own way. He shows no remorse for anything. I don't really want to hear this guy crying anymore. And, come on, he had a hit and run. He was in rehab one day, which everybody knows is a joke, and next day he's at the Patriots game. I mean,
Right.
He's kind of, I think we're sending him a message that you could do whatever you want and get away with it. You know what I mean? Why shouldn't he believe that? And, I mean, Chael just came out and told the story about they hit him under the ring for 8 hours under the octagon while USADA was there. So, this guy is a guy that thinks he's entitled to help from everybody. I mean, and that, for me as a coach, I mean, it brings up another dynamic. I mean, did you actually have coaches helping this guy hide? Were they accomplices to this? I mean, it's kind of a, and I think Winklejohn and Jackson. I mean, Winklejohn's excellent. I love talking to the guy, and I don't think he wants to babysit the guy. But when is it a black eye on those guys and what they've done? I mean, it really, like. I don't know. Like, why should Chris Weidman, Larry Quinty, my guys have to worry about somebody using PEDs? You know what I mean? Let's make it a fair fight.
Yeah.
And the other thing I got to tell you as a coach, and I'm not looking to throw anybody like under the bus, but like I love Jeff Novinsky. I love seeing the guy. He's a great guy. Speaks well. Always one of the guys I like talking to when I hit Vegas. And if one of my guys did what Jon Jones did, I swear to God, I'd have a hard time facing the guy. I really would. I would have a hard time talking to the guy. Really consider the guy like, like at least an acquaintance or a friend. But, I mean, like, when do we start holding everybody else accountable also for this guy's actions? Maybe that'll help, you know what I mean? But he's just totally self-destructive. Everything is phony about his apologies. It's kind of sad, and they have tried to help him. I mean, you figure after he had the hit and run and some of the other stuff, you smarten up. But this guy has a serious problem, and if he doesn't get help, there's no indication this guy's stopping. None at all.
Now, Ray, obviously there's the image of Jon Jones, and he's going to have to deal with all the negativity with that, due to the last couple of years. But what does he do as a fighter? Like, how is it going to affect him potentially if he's out for 2 years? He's in the prime of his, career here. I mean, what would you do if Chris Weidman's out for 2 years? How does that affect Jon Jones as a fighter if he's out for 2 years? And besides the financial, like on a technical level, can he come back and be the same guy?
Well, look, I still think, Kenny, we're in a sport where things are growing leaps and bounds. Not as much as they were 15 years ago, but guys are getting quicker. They're coming up with new stuff. This sport is still evolving.
Yeah.
So, it's fortunate, but like kind of unfortunate. But Jon Jones is a super talented athlete. You almost have to believe because of his size and his ability that the 2 years, I think affects 90% of the people. It'll affect them, but I still think he gets back in there and he could, still, make a run for it because he's really a super talented guy. And I think that's part of the problem that feeds into his behavior is that he can get away with stuff that the average guy has to work his ass off for.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's the tricky part. But yeah, no, if any of these guys sit out a year, like even Al, he's going to come back after a year, but he has been rehabbing his knee, and we gotta wait and see. But yeah, 2 years is a long time, and he's still a young guy, so I still think he's got that going for him. But what does he do in the 2 years? Does he continue on that self-destructive path? Then he's really in trouble. Or does he evolve and become a better person? Then he might become a better fighter. You remember George Foreman?
Right.
He was actually, look, when Foreman was in his 20s, he couldn't go 5 rounds. Then you see him at 40, he's going 12 rounds easy.
Right.
So I think he evolved and he, got comfortable in his own skin and it made him better. So, I mean, that goes to be seen what happens with Jones. But right now he's on a track of really just total self-destruction. And, I mean, I don't even know, what do you do with the guys? They've offered him help. How many times does this guy do we have to listen to the apologies now? You know what I mean? This guy needs tough love. He really does. And he has to get in a program where, it's substantial enough that where it can make a change in this guy. Right now, everybody, the coaches, the people around, they're enabling him. They're telling him, keep doing what you're doing. You'll get away with it. Dana will bail you out. This guy will bail you out. You're a superstar. You know what I mean? It's fucking bullshit. You know what I mean? It's the Hillary Clinton thing. If the average guy did what Hillary Clinton did, they're in jail. There's no discussion.
Right.
You're off. So you create this behavior that people think they could do whatever the hell they want to do, and it kind of sucks. Because, again, he hurt a lot of people. He hurt the fans, definitely hurt DC. He hurt Dana. He hurt UFC 200. He hurt a lot of people. He hurt his coaches, hurt his manager. You know what I mean? So when does that mean something to him? When does he realize, wow, it's not just about me? And I think that's the difference with Brock. I think Brock's not a self-destructive guy. Again, he comes from an industry where it's kind of acceptable and it's for the show. And, it was a one-shot deal with him. I don't know if Brett was saying that. I don't want to repeat what he was saying, but, he'll go back to SummerSlam or whatever wrestling thing he does. And, I don't think it's the same dynamic as Jon Jones. I think it's two totally separate cases. They're both wrong, but I think you'll see Brock address it totally differently than what Jon Jones,
Yeah.